Hello, ladies and gents, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Opinions on Opinions. This video is Ben Shapiro, and it was the first video that he released as soon as the attacks had happened. So we're just going to dive straight in and look at his opinion. He's Jewish, he's American, and this is his opinion. All right.
Those have been the words of the Jewish people for 3 millennia. Those were the words of the men, women, and children of Masada. Those were the words of the followers of Bar Kokhba. Those were the words of Jews in Granada in 1066 and the Rhineland in 1096, and Khmelnytsky from 1648 to 1657, and Kishinev in 1903, and Hebron in 1929. Those were the words of Jews in Auschwitz and Treblinka. Those were the last words of Daniel Pearl. And those are my words too. They're the words of my parents, the words of my wife, my children. Over the weekend, my people, the Jewish people, were attacked. They're murdered, mutilated. Our women were raped. Our children were kidnapped. This has happened millions of times before to millions of Jews across history. Jew hatred exists because...
Just want to quote him there about the rape. As this has come out, it's obviously they said that loads of stuff had happened, but none of it's actually been proven again. Like, who's saying that these women were actually raped? You know, it's like I haven't actually personally seen any evidence of this yet, and until we get some hostages back, how do you really know? But look at the ideology it already puts in your head that these are like rapists. I'll tell you now, like most Muslims, can't have sex before marriage, you know, and most Muslims I've ever met do not have sex before marriage. So to say that Muslims are raping people is quite a accusation, to be honest with you. But again, we'll try and verify this later on. Again, you know what I mean? Not to try and discredit anybody, but I'm just having an opinion again. It's like I'm just nobody again. I'm a free being. I don't care either way. This is just an outward opinion. It's like what it looks like, you know? Right, anyway, let's carry on.
Evil exists because there are people who have, for literally all of human history, hated the Jews and sought to strike at them while they are weak, who have blamed the Jews for their own problems, who have crafted complex conspiracy theories about the supposed power of the Jews, who have sought to destroy, to murder, to mutilate.
And again, the powers of the Jews, we have never said that the Jews have all this power, Most Jews are just normal people, you know. Like Orthodox Jews, again, they're very much like Muslims. They grow their beards, they do not cut their hair, etc., you know. They're out and out Jews. They're complete and utter Jews. But this Zionist movement, again, just because it derives from Jews, doesn't mean that all Jews are Zionists, you know. So it's like even like... Tony Blair, for example, he might not even be a Jew himself, but he does support Zionism, you know? So he is a Zionist, but he's not even Jewish, okay? So when we talk about the conspiracies of the powers of the world and these elite bankers and the people who sort of control the monetary supply to countries, and like when you look into wars that they've been orchestrated to conquer them and implement a centralised banking system, it's like once we've got the centralised banking system in there, we've got, not we, but the people at the top, the elites, have an amount of control now. So we do withdraw. Troops withdraw, they get their independence back, absolutely fine. There's a centralised banking system in place. You know, so the conspiracy derives from Zionists. It's not Jewish people. So he's twisting that up a little bit as well. I'm just going to skip back on the video a sec because I'm sure there was something else I wanted to say. Hang on.
To rape the Jews. Ones who have hated the Jews and sought to strike at them while they are weak, who have blamed the Jews for their own problems, who have crafted complex conspiracy theories about the supposed...
Let's just take another example, though, even from the Bible, Even if these stories were to be true, which, again, have already been decided that this is a mythological book, to show you the belief of what Jewish people believe, So, David and Goliath. David defeated the Philistines, and they took over the land and called it Israel. But it was not Israel, you know what I mean? It was Canaan. So they took it over. And anyway, then years later, when Solomon became corrupted, etc., in that section of the Bible, the Philistines come back and defeat the Jews. You know, so it's like this thing again. If you really want to say that the Jews have been persecuted by every single person, yeah, it's not actually true. It's like in that instance, they came and invaded a land and then got re-invaded, if you like, you know. So it's like that's how it works, you know. Right. Anyway, let's carry on.
Power of the Jews, who have sought to destroy, to murder, to mutilate, to rape the Jews, from Pharaoh to Haman, from Hitler to Hamas. The words of the Nazis are
Look at the names he uses there, Hitler to Hamas. There's not really many people there, is there, that have wanted to persecute the Jews.
Indistinguishable from the words of the Hamas charter. The chain of Jew hatred is unbroken. For 2 millennia, since the destruction of the last Jewish dynasty...
Let's just say that nobody else wanted all the Holocaust to happen. Not one other country, not one other person. Any human being actually on the outside, and I'm pretty sure even the citizens of Germany, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have even wanted that to happen. You know, we have no control. We don't decide what happens. You know, we didn't want that to happen. So not everybody was persecuting the Jews.
Holy land of Israel, those Jew haters were ascendant. Well, no longer. That is the promise of the state of Israel. Never again. The Jews will not stand by. They will not be murdered. They will not leave their biblical homeland. They will not surrender. They will be strong and courageous, chazak v'amatz, as Joshua said 3,000 years ago. Israel is indispensable. This weekend proved it is indispensable. Its presence is a miracle. Its strength a gift. Thank God for the state of Israel. There are people who say that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. Tell that to Hamas, who proclaim in their charter, quote, Israel will exist and will continue to exist until Islam will obliterate it, just as it obliterated others before it. There are those who say that the Israeli-Arab conflict is a cycle of violence. Only the morally blind, obtuse, could ever say such a thing. Today, I'm going to show you videos. And the videos I'm going to show you are going to be ingrained on the inside of your eyelids for the rest of your life, because this is what evil looks like. So look. Today, I'm going to show you videos that will be seared into your brains. Look, because this is what moral equivalence brings. The rape of women, the kidnapping of children, the murder of hundreds of innocents, including full families. Look, for decades we've been told...
Now, to be honest, it's like, obviously I said there's no clarification on the rapes and that yet. Obviously, people have been kidnapped, though. And again, if that was a political party or a recognised state, then obviously that is against international law to take hostages. You know, you're not allowed to do that. Or kill civilians. And they breached the border, killed civilians and took hostages. But again, this is why they're classified as a terrorist organisation. They were already a terrorist organisation to Israel, which is why they have encaved Gaza into a 25-mile by 7-mile open-air prison and contained Hamas in there. So they didn't need to... They should have defended the border. Hang on, sorry, I'm forgetting myself. Let's carry on.
If you look at it, that to pretend evil away was an act of intellectual virtue, that to cater to evil, to concede to evil, was the pathway toward a better, more peaceful world. It was a damned lie. Look. There are those out there who are proclaiming the complexity of it all. Those people are fools. They are fools, and what is worse, they are enablers of evil. They are fellow travelers. They are justifiers of the...
So yeah, what I was saying is, like, basically you can't have draw symmetry between the two of Hamas and the IDF. You cannot do it, because one's an actual recognised state and does have to obey international law, and international law should be upheld against them if they break it. Whereas, like Hamas, you can't uphold an international law against Hamas. There's nothing to uphold it against. They're a terrorist organisation. You can't sanction them any more than they've been sanctioned. Hence why they've become terrorists, you know? So, like, at the end of the day, what Israel is doing now by killing all the civilians inside Gaza is against international law. Starving them, blocking off their water, you know? It's just that simple. It's against international law. It's not being upheld. This is why it's going to cause such a big problem. And because Israel's got such big ties with the West and it's our political agenda in the Middle East, it's like Iran and the Arab nations obviously are not going to be happy with what's going on, you know, because they are trying to take over and they are trying to push the Palestinians out, and they're committing crimes against international law, and it's not going to be upheld. We're supporting them crimes, you know. What the?
Human rights violators on the planet. People who target civilians and hide behind them. Today, I'm going to let evil show you its face. Do not
Targets human beings and hides behind them. Right, let's just take this example again. Yeah, it was like there was a hospital blown up a few years back by Israel in Gaza, and basically their excuse was for blowing up the hospital was that there was a Hamas base kept underneath the hospital. Again, when you're a terrorist organisation, yeah, you don't have many options, do you, to protect yourself? It's pretty difficult. Like you say, everything's controlled. You have a board all the way around you. You can't leave, come or go, or anything. So at the end of the day, it's like, what are they meant to do? Just put it in plain sight and get it bombed? No, they put it underneath the hospital because logic tells you if you put it underneath a hospital, more than likely no one's going to bomb you because there's a civilian hospital above you and you're going to kill a lot of civilians. But no fucks given. Just bomb the fucking shit out of it. You know, it's a crime against humanity. It doesn't matter that their base is underneath the hospital. Yeah, alright, it's maybe not the best tactic to use, but it's the only tactic they have. And again, I'm not justifying Hamas at all. I don't like terrorists. I don't want terrorist organisations necessarily to exist at all. It's just like it's the product of what's happened so far, and this still needs to all play out. The trouble is we're watching history live. This hasn't finished yet.
away. Look. This weekend, this was the worst day for Jews since the Holocaust. Do not turn away. Look. Look it in the face. And I know that you will. I know you will. Because I'm a Jew and because I'm an American. Americans love justice. Americans love the good. Americans resonate to the book of Psalms that says, hate evil, those who love the Lord. Hate evil, and fight it. Americans always have, and they always will. I know we will. I'm a Jew. Those aren't just the words of martyrs. They're the words.
And that's it. To be honest, the civilians that have been killed or taken in Israel, it is tragic. It's like at the end of the day, them people are just normal people. Oi, shh. Sorry, that's me dog. But they are just normal people, you know. So like at the end of the day, it is tragic. You don't want them people to die. They're just normal Jewish people. I don't know what level of Jew they are, like whether they actually practice Judaism or they just say they're a Jew. It's like, again, you know, I have opinions on that as well. Same thing happens in England. Christians say they're Christian. They never even go to church. They never practice any Christianity. They're just labelled as a Christian. So, okay. Right. Anyway, let's carry on again.
Heroes. They're the words of Moses in front of Pharaoh, and Jonah on the boat, and Esther in front of Ahasuerus. They're the words of the Maccabees, and they are the words of the soldiers currently serving in Gaza, protecting their families, and protecting their children, and protecting their land. I am a Jew. Let me tell you what those words mean. They mean I'm a child of the people of the book, the people who brought the world Moses' message of freedom, and Jeremiah's message of justice, and Isaiah's message of hope. The people who represent the root of the values of the West, the people who preserve the tradition thousands of years old stretching back to Sinai, the people of the Ten Commandments and the splitting of the Red Sea, of the Holy Temple, and of Abraham's one God. I'm a Jew. I'm a member of a people who will not be victimized again. Israel's called up 300,000 reservists. People are volunteering in mass numbers. Flights in Israel are packed. Flights out are largely empty. 150% of volunteer numbers have been hit. Now I want to read you some texts from people I know. Brothers, sisters, friends in Israel. This from a member of my security detail in Israel. We just left a couple of days ago. He's been called up. He's 25 years old. Quote, on my way to join my brothers in combat. And this from a close friend, a doctor from the United States, who has responded to Israel's call urgently for doctors. Quote, I couldn't sit in Florida knowing what's happening. And this, from a soldier in Gaza, quote, today our hearts beat with fear. Who among us is going to die? And who will return safe and sound? We are your messengers in battle. We fight so that you can live in peace with your children, so you can stay alive. We are your protection. Will you be one of us? We go on this dangerous mission knowing that some of us will not return, but will ascend to our next position in a storm to heaven as Eliyahu the prophet did. We go there with devotion and dedication. We ask you to be our protection through your prayers.
This is another thing, is Israelis or Jewish people do literally take the Bible as historical text. So again, let's just listen to this little article that I've got here. Hang on a second, let's go. Oh, sorry, 2 seconds. I haven't even got it set up, so apologies about this. Waiting on me again.
Is the Bible a historical text? Writing during the early half of the 19th century, the first modern Jewish historians, such as Isaac Marcus Jost 1793, 1860, and Leopold Zunz, 1794, 1886, did not think so. They regarded the Old Testament as a theological work reflecting the beliefs of Jewish religious communities after the destruction of the First Temple. It was not until the second half of the century that Heinrich Graetz, 1817-91, and others developed a national vision of the Bible and transformed Abraham's journey to Canaan, the flight from Egypt and the United Kingdom of David and Solomon into an authentic national past. By constant repetition, Zionist historians have subsequently turned these biblical truths into the basis of national education.
So basically, when they're brought up and they're educated, they're basically taught that it's actual fact and history, that these things definitely happened, which obviously they do believe in, but at the same time they're like mythological stories to explain what the belief is, what they're believing in, Well, anyway, let's just listen to this last bit and we'll move on.
But during the 1980s an earthquake shook these founding myths. The discoveries made by the new archaeology discredited a great exodus in the 13th century BC. Moses could not have led the Hebrews out of Egypt into the promised land, for the good reason that the latter was Egyptian territory at the time, and there is no trace of either a slave revolt against the Pharaonic Empire or of a sudden conquest of Canaan by outsiders, nor is there any trace or memory of the magnificent kingdom of David and Solomon. Recent discoveries point to the existence, at the time, of two small kingdoms, Israel, the more powerful, and Judah, the future Judea. The general population of Judah did not go into 6th century BC exile. Only its political and intellectual elite were forced to settle in Babylon. This decisive encounter with Persian religion gave birth to Jewish monotheism.
Well, there we go. So basically, I've done a lot of research on this, and there's nothing to actually prove these people were ever even there. It's based on a belief. Right. Anyway, let's just carry on. I'm not here to disprove anybody because to be Jewish is to have faith, is to believe in something, and that's absolutely fine. I believe you can do that. So I'm not against being religious. I love the Abrahamic religions.
Protect us. By going beyond yourselves through spirituality and good deeds, pray for us. Pray that you will not see another mother bury her son. Pray that you will not see our women as widows raising our children in tears. Pray that our children will grow up who their fathers are. Pray that we eliminate the terrorists.
Pray that you don't see another mother bury her son. Well, again, that's going to happen tenfold now, isn't it, in Palestine? So I do pray that. I pray that for both sides, and I pray that for Palestine. So he's asking you to pray for that. For what? Israel. But he couldn't give a shit about the Palestinians. Honestly, it's just the hypocrisy is absolutely insane in this sort of thing that's going on at the moment with Israel. It's crazy. How can you not have humanity? And I'll show you though later on, because we're ruled by power and politics. There isn't anything else. You need to be the power hold in the world. Otherwise, you're the ones who are going to be suppressed. So hang on a sec.
And to destroy us, and that we do not harm innocent women and children. Please, we implore you, as you read this, don't just move on to the next thing you do. Say a chapter of Psalms. Awaken King David to ask the Almighty for full redemption and peace for the whole world. Take upon yourself another good deed. And please pass this on. I'm sure your prayer will make a difference. Remember, we are in this front lines with weapons, and you fight with us in your prayers. Every word of your prayer gives us strength, protection, and success. Every year, we Jews read on Passover in the subjugation to redemption, now speedily and close at hand. And here is that song. Acheinu kol beis Yisrael, Acheinu kol beis Yisrael, Hanesunim betzara, betzara uvashivya, Haomdim ben bayam uven bayabashav. Hamakom yerachem, yerachem alehem, v'yotziim mitzara, lirvacha, ma'afa leora, mishibu legeula hashta, bagala uvizman kariv. I'm going to finish with one more thing that we say, and that everyone should remember. The people.
Wow. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. Jesus Christ. That was well sung. I did not expect that. It blew me out of the water. I'm not even going to lie. Well done, Ben Shapiro. That was banging. It was sick, man. We like that, right?
Of Israel lives. Our Father in heaven lives. God bless you. God bless the United States. God bless the state of Israel and all the people who are going to go into harm's way to protect innocent lives. And may God avenge the blood of the innocent.
Oh, yeah, baby. Well, that was Ben Shapiro. That sounded good. I don't know what's going on with my PC. I've never, ever seen it go this slow before. I don't know what's going on. It's like, are they doing work on the internet today?
War in Israel continues as more updates are flowing out. I'm getting information on nearly a minute.
Right, I just clicked on this here. It says, may God avenge their blood. We'll just tap into this for a sec, for a minute, just see what it's about. Because I haven't seen this yet.
5-minute basis. At this point, I'm bringing to you what I have as it comes in. Overnight, bodies of more than 1,500 terrorists have been found inside of Israel's borders. It was unclear at the very beginning on Friday night, Saturday. It was unclear exactly how many terrorists had entered Israel at the beginning. There were a lot of talks about a few dozen. It turns out that it was at least 1,500 terrorists who had broken through the Israeli border fence surrounding the Gaza Strip. And the way that they did this was sophisticated. It was obviously backed by Iran. It takes tremendous sophistication to do what they did. Israel had built this 20-foot-high border fence around the Gaza Strip. It was considered well-nigh impermeable. It had touch sensors. It had drones. It had all sorts of material around it that made it very difficult to breach. Apparently, Hamas came up with a way to do it in technologically sophisticated fashion. They used cyber attacks. They used drones of their own to blow up the actual sensor towers. They then drove bulldozers through the fence, and 1,500 terrorists at a minimum broke into the state of Israel and promptly engaged in the worst massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. The numbers, as of this moment, are approaching 1,000 dead Jews, probably in excess of 1,000 dead Jews at this point. This was not a military operation in any real sense of the term military. These were Einsatzgruppen Nazis who were literally driving up to different Israeli villages. And these are not settlements. When you hear settlements typically refer to people who are in the West Bank, Judea and Samaria. It's a completely different discussion. These are people who are just living in villages, living in kibbutzim that are very close to the Gaza border. These Nazis drove up. They literally just mowed down civilians, kidnapped civilians, brought them back to the Gaza Strip. According to the Times of Israel, the Israel Defense Forces said it had finally regained control over its suddenly porous border with the Gaza Strip on Tuesday morning, 72 hours after Hamas terrorists blew through.
So yeah, they secured the borders after 72 hours. It took them several hours to even make it there to start securing them. So what was happening for 7 hours, you know? And they breached the borders. That's your chance to defend yourselves. Why are you not defending yourselves there and then? You could have eliminated the threat there and then. You're now like trying to hunt down people and killing 5,000 civilians so far to try and get to them. But anyway, Jesus Christ.
Actions of the barrier and launched an invasion that saw over 1,000 Israelis slaughtered or kidnapped. As Israel continues to grapple with the enormity of Saturday's massacres, and the military was formally notifying hostages' families that their loved ones were being held in Gaza, Air Force planes bombarded wide swaths of the Strip. More and more video is emerging at this point of exactly how terrorists broke into the various kibbutzim and the various towns that are surrounding the Gaza Strip, that's known as the Gaza envelope. Here, for example, is a video of Hamas terrorists who ambushed people as they were attempting to drive into one of these kibbutzim. They're standing outside the fence, as you can see in this particular video, and they're waiting for someone to approach this thick iron fence. I think about attempting to crawl underneath, and then you will see that they're going to ambush a car as it drives up and allows the gate to open. They then proceeded to go into this particular area and murder as many Jews as they could. One of the most horrifying discoveries yesterday is over 100 dead bodies in one of these kibbutzim, a place called Kibbutz Bari. You can see that the car arrives, the gate begins to open, the terrorists come and they murder the civilians, they shoot them, and then they break into the kibbutz. This is what terrorism looks like. This is what evil looks like. They came to.
The only other thing I don't understand in that is that car is on their side of the fence. So how the frickin' Nora is that Israelis? Like, why are Israelis in Gaza? If Hamas can just kill you in Gaza, yeah, why are Israelis visiting Gaza? They could just kill the Israelis in Gaza. You know, all I'm saying is that doesn't make sense to me, and I've never seen it before. It's my first thought. What the fuck is going on there? Because that was on their side of the border. Huh? I really wish I could ask someone that question.
I have friends who are down there at the border of the Gaza Strip right now, in some of these places like Sderot. See, now they're running roughshod through the area. My friends who are down at the border are sending me video. One of the pieces of video that was sent to me from my friend shows one of the Hamas trucks. It was still laden with guns and ammunition in the back. Here's a little bit of the video. I'll narrate it for you. You can see this is
came and drove through Sderot here.
A terror truck.
This is all the stuff that they had in here. Suitcases full of ammo and stuff.
You can see that it's still laden with guns and ammunition, bags of guns and ammunition. On the ground, there are Arabic writings. Those Arabic writings are pamphlets distributed by Hamas about the Islamic rules of war, talking about what you can do to women, what you can do to children, and all of the rest. The pictures that have now emerged from Kibbutz Bari are absolutely horrifying, as you would imagine. Over 100 dead people found in just that one kibbutz alone, which makes it the second greatest site of death in Israel. The first greatest site of death in Israel was the massacre at this EDM, electronic dance music festival, Kibbutz Beri in southern Israel. They found more than 100 bodies there. And again, the pictures are horrifying. It's just stats and stats.
Right, anyway, it is horrifying. God bless everybody. Yeah, I'm telling you now. Yeah, I'm got to get off here because I've got like a 12-hour race tonight. So I need my endurance. I need to get some sleep and stuff. It's like 3 p.m. at the moment. Right, anyway, people. Yeah, peace, much love. See you later. Catch you next time.